Learning more about pollution monitoring that the DEQ is doing near Precision Castparts in southeast Portland. But our Tim Becker is also learning the facility has a history of dumping chemicals into nearby Johnson Creek. He's live with more on that, Tim.
Yeah, well, behind me is one of those new air monitoring stations. It's about 2 blocks west of Precision Castparts, which is also just about 400 yards from Johnson Creek. Turns out that over the years, Portland regulators have found that the company repeatedly discharged toxins into a storm pipe draining into the creek. Equipment going in near Precision Castparts will test the air for 9 different heavy metals, including cadmium, chromium, arsenic, and nickel. The last 2 showing up as hotspots on Moss testing maps released earlier this year. But what about the water here? Johnson Creek is a stone's throw from the facility.
Recent sampling of Johnson Creek metals and PCBs have been identified at levels of concern.
Levels of concern.
Yeah.
Chip Snyder, a former stormwater manager, lives 10 blocks from Precision Castparts. He wonders what oversight is in place right now to monitor toxic fallout into the water system. This document shows the DEQ had found chlorinated solvents, metals, acids, and bases, along with PCBs, a carcinogen, in both soil and stormwater around the facility. It concludes metals have been released to Johnson Creek via stormwater.
They haven't been able to find any of those chemicals upstream, and they find them right at the entrance to the creek from their storm drain.
In 2008 and again in 2012, the Bureau of Environmental Services found the company illegally discharged urea-laced water to the city storm drain serving its property. After investigating, the Bureau determined the company violated city code by putting PCBs into the creek. It also found elevated levels of at least a dozen other highly toxic compounds in creek sediments and sourced it back to Precision Castparts, according to Head of Enforcement Matt Griblet.
We just want to make sure that the expectation that the DEQ and the health department is representing the public is fulfilled, and that's not just a fantasy.
When asked to respond to questions about discharges from its plant, Precision Castparts released a statement saying in part that its air and water emissions are in full compliance with permits and that the company is committed to minimizing its impact on the environment. Now, test results from these air monitoring stations are going to be coming in soon, so we'll be sure to follow up and let you know exactly what they find. Live in Southeast Portland, Tim Becker, KOIN 6 News.